Hey, Kings and Dragons, Dragon King 551. This is all about um a Vampire Diaries type oriented video. I have not done this. I have seen this on TikTok. I have seen this on places where people have gave their reasons. And today we're gonna talk about who the girl wonder, the tribrid, Hope Andrea Michelson, should have had still alive, or who should have raised her in the end to keep it going. Here's the thing: Klaus and Hope or Hayley and Hope. The problem with this is, in my book, Klaus and Hope should have been a thing. Here's my thinking. In the first in the first 5 years, Hayley gets to raise Hope. Now, don't get me wrong. Hayley has done a great job with raising Hope and stuff. Remember, I'm sorry, not Davina. Dahlia stated that Hope would lash out at Klaus and all his anger and stuff with the Hollow and everything else and yada yada yada, blah blah blah. But the point is that a lot of people were saying we just saw Hope grow up. Did we actually see Hayley really raise her? No. However, I think that a lot of people are saying that Hope needed to be um around her mother more than around her father for her teenage years. And I kind of disagree with that because you don't know really the power of the father. I get why that the mothers get in a custody battle the kid over the father is because like they know how to nurture them better and stuff. But at the same time, I personally would have loved to see Hope, like Danielle Rose Russell's character and how much it would change if Klaus was there raising her. Like I still think Klaus would probably send her to the school to protect her because that's what Hayley would want and stuff, and he would put everything he thinks that he would know what Hayley would want and himself. And ultimately, when we get up to season 5, I personally think that Klaus and Hope would be on a very, very good relationship, and we would get more. They just got the short end of the stick. That's how I feel. Klaus and Hope versus Hayley and Hope is Klaus and Hope got a short end broken wooden stick that had no demeanor and nothing left in the story. Now, don't get me wrong. When they meet again in season 5, they do repair their relationship to the most part and they love each other. It's just they don't ever have enough time together because of stupidity and stuff. Why is it that we have Hayley and Hope together, but we don't get to see any of Klaus and Hope and stuff? And that is why I wish that we had a season 6 and 7 where Klaus lived, or we got legacies where he was in the show and stuff. It would have just been much, much, much better of a show and everything else. And personally, for me, I think that Klaus and Hope would have been an interesting dynamic. Would Klaus be better for his daughter? Would Marcel be around to help him? And would like his siblings be all around to help him? The answer is yes and no because they could be around, but I think Marcel and Freya and Klaus all being around and Freya actually helping Hope with her magic, and then also Freya giving Klaus some pointers on how to deal with Hope and be great with her, and then calling Hayley every now and then to get some help and stuff. I think that with Marcel and everyone there, the family is fine. And personally, I think that if you go down that route, um, yeah, eventually they'll try to bring the family back together. But I personally think that Hope wouldn't go into all those shenanigans because let's just face it, Greta is not going to be able to kill Klaus. There's no way to kill Klaus. There's no way to do the binding ritual again. There's no way to really kill him unless you have a white oak stake. And certainly they do not. So obviously, there's no way to kill him. I mean, yeah, they could go after Hope, but at the same time, um, the binding ritual requires double ganger blood. Doesn't make much sense towards it later. So, I mean, obviously, I think you could just kill the witch that casted it or did it, and personally, I mean, shut it down. But I think that the binding ritual is just stupid. Like, I mean, Hope would still trigger her wolf side somehow, and then we would get Tribrid Hope later down the line and stuff. I know Hayley probably wouldn't be pleased, but I think that if you on the night that Hope turns, I think that Hayley would be able to keep the Hollow in check for that night and return with her daughter, and Klaus would also turn. It would be kind of a cool scenario to see all three of them together. But I think that if you think about it, Klaus, I understand where people are coming from, that people are saying that Hope would need Hayley more because of the into her teenage years. But I think that if you talk about it, like Klaus would actually be there and understand the rage and pain and stuff a little bit better because he's been down that road for 1,000 years. Now I do say he's in his early 20s, but when he turned, I mean, Rebecca was probably like 17 or 18 when she turned, but I don't know, for Klaus, I think that he didn't really age at all, and maybe he stayed in his 20s, but he was still very ragey like a teenager and stuff. Remember, being a teenager is already tough. 15 to 18 really is like where your hormones and you going through puberty and changes. But imagine adding that on top of heightened emotions without, remember, a werewolf can still get angry even if they're not active, even if they haven't activated their side, they can still have that anger inside them with their werewolf gene. And then you add that with all the anger and everything else with the werewolf gene, at plus all of the vampire genes that come with it, of the heightened emotions and everything else. Add that into a factor with her crazy witch powers when her emotions go bonkers, and then add that all in with the anger that she already has. There's no telling how angry she could become and how much devastation she could have on the world. So, I mean, I think that if you take that into account, maybe Klaus knows how to deal with it better. Obviously, Klaus can't die, so it's probably easier for him to deal with Hope as like the hybrid. And, I just think that if you look at it as a whole, Klaus and Hope would be an awesome relationship to see throughout the story and stuff versus Hayley and Hope, where it just doesn't seem as great and stuff. And honestly, I don't really hate Hayley and Hope. I just don't think that I wanted it because I already saw it once, and then Klaus had to leave for a second time and abandon his daughter for a second time in her lifetime. And he basically missed 13 years of her life, if you think about it, because he was on, let's state it, he missed 5 years of her life. And I mean, that was because, of the of Marcel and stuff. And I mean, he missed 5 years of that life to protect Hope. And then the 8 years is really where he shut off communication because he thinks he broke his kid because of what she saw that night when she was 9 years old. However, I do think that, I mean, they do repair it quite nicely for the most part in season 5. And I mean, like Hope says, she'll do right by their name. Honestly, don't understand why she went back to school. And she said, I want to go back. And honestly, I mean, I just think that Klaus and Hope um is the winner. And I mean, Hayley and Hope for me is not a loser, but I mean, Klaus and Hope is definitely better for me than what I already got. So I mean, for the most part, I think that Klaus and Hope is the thing that I would have loved to see more. I wanted to see how he would raise her versus how Hayley raised her. But I mean, you really can't say that because we only see her growing up. We don't actually see the parents raising her. But that's all I got, guys. So until next time, guys, don't forget to stay radical. I'll see you in the next one.